Hello, good morning, and also a warm welcome from my side to my lecture, Batch Orchestration in Modular Automation. I'm just prepared. It was a long way to this lecture here, but I think this innovation lecture is important. And before I start with my lecture, I will give you a short overview about the agenda of my lecture. First of all, I will give you a short introduction to myself and the company ProLeiT, where I'm coming from. Later on, I will talk about batch orchestration in modular automation. Then I will give the idea of MTP. And later on, I will talk about the brain of the modular automation, the future brain, an orchestration layer and batch orchestration layer, which is needed to manage all these modular modules. And last but not least, I will finalize with a conclusion and a Q&A. First of all, introduction to myself. I'm coming from the company ProLeiT. I'm working with ProLeiT since more than 20 years now in several responsibilities. Today, I speak to you as the Director, Business Segment Beverages. And as I stated, I'm coming from ProLeiT. ProLeiT is a company for automation business. We are supplying automation solutions, and these automation solutions are now a part of some bigger group. We were bought 2 years ago from Schneider Electric, and we are now part of the whole Schneider Electric family. But we are around about 650 employees worldwide, and we are not only located here in Germany, also in the US, in the Americas, and in Asia. So let's start now, after this short introduction, with the lecture itself. And first of all, I will bring you that you visualize yourself of your inner eye, your plant. I'm not sure who is a plant manager in this lecture, but please review a little bit about your plant and your current situation. I brought with me this automation pyramid, and with this automation pyramid you see all these three important layers. At the top you have the ERP layer. Later on, the MES layer with line management, the planning solutions and analysis, and last but not least, the shop floor control level, where the PCS, line management, data acquisition, and all the machinery is located. And everything together is connected via field bus networks and different net solutions. And if you think to your inner eye, then you will have the idea that some of these solutions are also in place in your plant, but as I understood from a lot of our customers, these are not already linked to each other. They are sometimes still islands. But let's follow this idea of the inner eye and try to visualize the expectations you are facing from the market situation at the moment when you think about your production plant. What is important, or what should you expect in your production, is you will have more flexibility in the production itself, because the product's changing more. And sometimes you also have seasonal products and smaller products, and all these products changing a lot and are more focused to the demands of the end customer. This means the individual products are in smaller batches, maybe to a lot size of 1. So it works not really well. Okay, to a lot size of 1. And another thing is, as I already stated, the production cycles are much shorter now. Yeah? As I stated, if you have a seasonal activity, then you change the products for this maybe Christmas time, and then you only produce this kind of seasonal products. And this means also you have to breathe with your production. Yeah? This production can be sometimes a little bit smaller, yeah, when you have such seasonal products, but then it expands also if you have in summertime, before the summertime start, you have a high season for your standard products, and that means you should have the possibility to breathe. Another thing which is important is what you expect is more standardization in your production plant, and interfaces should be more standardized. And also from the maintenance perspective, the downtimes should be also more shorter. That's a wish, I know, but it's an important wish. And last but not least, yeah, you have invested a lot in your plant, and this means the willingness to change something in your plant is also low because you have invested it already, and this means you need here also more flexibility in your plant, which is already there. And at the end, all these processes have to be tested and be safe. And what's at the end very important from the official point of view, traceability across system boundaries are absolutely necessary, because no one will be with his product in the late evening news here in Germany or worldwide, because there then it's too late. If there is a problem in your plant, then traceability should give you the idea which product has to be taken out or called back. But there is another important player in this game for plant building. These are the plant builders, machine suppliers, system suppliers. Also, these have requirements from the market and are important for the current situation. First of all, what's important for them is when they deliver maybe a filling unit or a mixing unit, then they build in their technical know-how. Yeah? And this means they want to cover it, they want to protect it. So this means they have not so many interests that this unique selling point will be shared with others. Sorry. So another thing is that they want to build more standardized package units, which includes not only the hardware, also the automation. All these units should be, from the perspective of IT security, should be safe and tested. And the interfaces in between their solution, their package unit, and other package units, and later on the higher automation level should be also on a safe and standardized level. These all requirements at the end lead to the idea of modular automation. What does this mean? Modular automation means you have more structure in your plant, you have modules in it, and you only can achieve this via standardization. Let's come back to your inner eye and have a look to your inner eye. What does this mean for your plant? Is it already standardized? What is the level of standardization in your plant? Here I had listed some requirements according standardization. Standardization of intelligent modules may be able to react faster to the market. It's what I said. If it's more standardized, then you can change much faster your products because you can click on a module or you can click off a module, so you are much faster to react, for example, to seasonal products. Also, it's much easier to include new modules into the system. And also, your system is then much more flexible. And all these standardization information also give some other objective. So an achievement of a higher degree of standardization is definitely necessary to establish a modular production. But as I already stated, such a modular production enables a quick and easy adaptation to a system, new processes and market requirements. And this means with standardization and modularization, you are much faster with your solution to the market. And also from the maintenance perspective, it's more standardized. You have not so many equipment. This means also you can repair if there is a need for much faster. And it's also the possibility to breathe. If it's standardized, you can react also regarding the amount of batches much more flexible. And all these ideas of more structure, more organization, more standardization, more modularization leads to the idea of modular automation. And this was born a few years ago, and ProLeiT is also following this idea. And I think it's a really innovative idea, because the idea behind this module or this package consists of all necessary, the process, alarm management, security requirements, process control, all these things are covered in one module with his own brain, with his own PLC, and can be used. So here I have another, Here I have another slide for this. You see it on the left-hand side. You have the module itself. The module has all these knowledge or needs from automation perspective covered in the module itself. Then the process is covered, this unit process. It could be a reaction, filtration. It could be also a mixing plant. And that's covered to each other with their own brain. And you have, on the other hand, standardized interfaces. And over these standardized interfaces, you can click or link these modules to each other. And what's very important is you also need a brain, and that's what I will talk later on. That's the orchestration layer. And this orchestration layer manage all these modules with each other. The higher level of the orchestration knows the recipes, the orders, and how the product should look like, and then knows also the modules which are in place and manage them from a higher level, and also can communicate to other partner systems. And if you have these module types in place, then you can mix them and link them very easily together. If you are expecting a new product or another process behind, then you can change them easily, because to the orchestration layer, the interface is standardized also in between, and then they can be exchanged. So who is working on this idea? It's becoming from the sensors, controller suppliers, automation, plant owners, universities, and plant manufacturers. All these are following this new idea of modular type packages. And I have here a list of parts of the team, and you can see in the midst it's the Namur. This association tries to organize these ideas, define the standards for the interfaces, for the communication, and how this modular type idea should look like. I brought with me some slides regarding Namur, where you can see that they already started with this idea. It's not just in the mind of some students, it's already in place. There are also some prototypes in place. I know them from some hardware suppliers, and also we from ProLeiT are working on it. So I think I already explained this, that it's very important not only have these standard modules, package units in place, it's also important to have overall a layer who communicates and organizes these modules. And for this, it's the process orchestration layer. So it's like an orchestra. You have different players, modules in place in your plant, but there is a higher level above who knows, who gives the information in which steps the process has to the product has to produce. It gives the information how the product should look like, and also gives the information which modules will be coming after another. So this means with a batch orchestration layer, you can be your own conductor in this orchestration layer of your plant. So, and where is this orchestration layer located? The brain, I would call it. It's in the automation pyramid. It's in between the field level and the ERP level. It's not on the basic automation layer. The basic automation layer is coming with the modules itself. It will be done by the supplier of the hardware. It's a level above where these information were linked together. Maybe I can explain it a little bit on a brownfield project, where I can give you some information about how this brain worked. It's a very easy process. You can see here some raw material tanks, a mixing tank, and some tanks above the filling lines. This means it's a normal batch oriented mixing for a syrup, a typical syrup room. And the first thing what you have to do, because the basic automation is already there, the first step is to implement these batch orchestration layer to the main sub-processes. That means the raw material tank and the filling tanks and the mixing area. And what's also important, you should know also the modules, the equipment. The equipment itself is also an MTP module. And these modules also have their own or their basic automation in place. And as I stated before, in a brownfield, they are already linked to each other, but the orchestration layer above manages this based on standard interfaces. He communicates with these different modules and manages them in the right way. I will come now to the plant batch orchestration system. This system was developed from ProLeiT, and it follows totally this idea of modularization and communicating with these kind of modules. First of all, we have standard interfaces to some PLC suppliers for Modicon by Schneider, Simatic by Siemens, and Rockwell with Control Logics. There are these standard interfaces already in place. You have also standard interfaces, for example, to scanners, for example, like OPC UA or like Profibus and Profinet. Then some standard interfaces may be on database level for LIMS, a laboratory system, and also for MTP units, like also there defined on the VDMA standard. And last but not least, interfaces to some additional archiving, data collecting systems, and also like ERP systems or cloud solutions. Maybe that could be also a cloud connector. So I show you now also an example, a sketch for it. You have there a scanning. It's only a rough process with scanning, mixing, bringing this mixing to a tank, then dosing something manually into it, and later on you have a tank farm, a pasteurizer, and at the end the product has to be checked via a laboratory system. And as you can see from the symbols, the scanner is connected via a PLC, via a standard interface. The mixing unit is MTP unit, and the tank is connected via PLC standards. The weighing scale via Profinet, MTP for the tank farm, and for the pasteurizer PLC, and the database interface for the testing. And that's now the idea of modularization. You can add, because you have standardized this tank, you can add an additional one. Or you see in your plant, the tank is too small, then you can add a bigger one, even exchange them. Or now you want to bring in with the scale the manual material a little bit earlier, and later on you will have the scanning, then you can exchange them. Okay, but last but not least, I have some information, a conclusion. What's unique with this product? It's based on ESA S88 standards. It contains what is expected from such an orchestration layer, recipes, bill of material, and managed batch sizes. And another important thing is we have implemented different strategies for emptying and filling tanks, like to work with this standard units. It's a dynamic in producing for different stage strategies. Master batches can be divided according the adapted units, and the batch size can be calculated automatically. And last slide is we also not only manage the recipes, also the material, have there some different strategies for reservation and releasing units and materials. And also, we can build with this idea of batch orchestration like a digital twin to such a plant on this orchestration layer. Yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you so much for listening. I hope it was interesting for you to get an idea of this new idea of more modularized automation using units as, to exchange. I think that's an important new step. Even if you have an old plant, there you can bring with this layer additional value to your plant, because you can leave your automation like it is and bring the recipe and order management also in place. Thank you.